everybody. This is Tanya Williams, your life coach, and I'm just coming today to drop you the little remix of the podcast, How to Identify What Season You're In. From time to time, I like to do these little short videos that gives you just kind of like the remix or the cliff notes of the podcast if you've missed it, or to help catch those up who's on either YouTube or maybe Facebook or Instagram who has not subscribed to the podcast. So again, if you haven't, it's on iTunes podcast and it's also on Spotify. So you can either search by my name, Tanya Williams, or by the podcast name itself, which is called Fierce, Favored, and Spiritually Grounded. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about how to identify what season you're in, and I'm just going to give you a couple of quick tips that has helped me whenever I'm going through these seasons. So, I know sometimes we feel like we're going through a dry season, a season where we may not hear from God, or we don't know what's going on in that season or what's up next. Some of you may actually be going through a dry season now. School has recently just started back, so you may have had small kids that you were at home with all day, and now they're starting school, so you got a lot of extra time on your hands, and you don't know what you're going to do like with this spare time. Or you may have kids that were at home and now they're going to college and things like that. So different seasons of life calls for different ways for us to handle them, and that season you may feel like you're going through a drought, and you might be like, what is going on here? But I'm just going to give you the quick definition of a drought. Is a prolonged absence of something specific, or it's just like a thirst for something. A drought doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual. A lot of times it is, though, for most people, and we use that as when we're going through a dry season. And for that, if you're going through a spiritual dry season, it's usually like where you go through a period of time where you're not really hearing from God, and you just feel like you're in limbo, like you don't know what's going on or what to do next. And so I'm going to try to help you get through that season. In Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, the Bible says, "For everything there is a season, there's a time for every matter under the heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck what was planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing." Woo! That was a mouthful right there. That was a lot, wasn't it? So if you took the time to examine your current situation or season in life right now, what would you say? Would you say you're in a grinding season, an empty nesting season, like I mentioned before? Maybe you're in a getting married season. You're single and you're waiting, raising small kids. Maybe you're in a spiritual warfare season. This list could really just go on and on, but we're going to talk about what to recognize, what life season that you're in. In a natural sense, we know that the seasons change, whether it's winter, spring, fall. If you're in Alabama, it jumps from winter to summer overnight. It may be 20 here today, and it may be 100 tomorrow, which is, something different within itself. Like you don't even know what's going on some days. But in the natural senses, the changing of the seasons, we see like the leaves falling in the fall, and the trees are changing colors and things like that. So we relate to what season we're in the natural sense. We can kind of tell where we're going. But in a spiritual sense, we don't. It's just like that we're in a silent period of time where we don't hear anything at all. So I'm going to tell you about a dry season. It's definitely a tough season to be in. I've been there in various moments in my life. Personally, this one's kind of hard for me because it's usually called spiritual dryness or a dry season, because God's really quiet during this time, and you feel like you can't feel His presence or you can't hear from Him. Like He's very distant. And, I believe one of the keys to getting through this, which is a challenging season with all itself, is just realizing that you're in this one and press through it. So keep praising Him, even though you don't hear from Him. Still keep spending time with Him. And I believe sometimes He will get us in this place so we will shut down all distractions around us so we can hear from Him. Because a lot of times, let's just face it, we got busy lives, we got a lot going on. Cell phones are a main distraction these days, and a lot of times when we get to our quiet place, we'll have notifications that'll go off, text messages, all kind of things, and it will distract us. So a lot of times what I like to do is just to remove the distraction itself. Leave my phone in another room, like I've mentioned that before, but so that will help us draw our attention on Him. And I just want to encourage you that if you're in this season, it's also good to do a self-examination. Kind of check your habits and the things that you're doing to see, is there anything that you're doing yourself to cause you to be in this season? If it's a financial season, maybe you should reevaluate your current business strategies and market tactics. I'm so sorry, y'all. My dog is just going crazy. And he gets to chasing these little squirrels out the window or these birds, and it drives her insane. So like I was saying, in this season, just do it. Maybe revamp your marketing strategies and just kind of see like what it is that you can do. And the second one is the waiting season. Now this one's definitely hard. It's so hard for us to wait because we're in a microwave moment, life where we can just drive through, get what we want, pop it in the microwave, and it's done. And a lot of times when we have to wait for something to be completed, God may be working on us in certain areas. He may be grooming us and molding us and preparing us for the next season. And a lot of times we just get tired and fed up and don't want to wait through the process or even grow through the process. And we'll try to take it into our own hands, and we'll try to, navigate that thing and do it on our own. And trust me, God hasn't forgotten you. He's planning, He's pruning you, and all the things that He's doing in this challenging time, it's going to be for your good, and it's going to be for His glory. So I know it's hard through that process, but just hang in there and grow through it, like I told you before. The next one is the grinding season. I feel like we're always in this season. It never ends. I don't have enough time in the day. There's not enough hours in the week. We all have the same amount of time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But to be honest with you, I'm in this season now where it's just like, where's the time? I don't have enough time. We both work full time. We've got kids in school. We got kids in college. My husband sings and he's traveling on the weekend. I have school. I have church that I have to do on, not have to do, I get to do, on Sunday, and it's all these things where I have these speaking engagements, then I have my life coaching on the side, then I make t-shirts. There's a lot of elements, just a lot of stuff that's going on, and I feel like, it's never stopping. But the key to success in the season is just, to really seek God for direction in the moment, and just attack your priorities. And the way that I do that is to put reminders on my phone. I have, stuff to do every day, but I prioritize what has to get done today, like what's important. And so I set those for like maybe 1 hour. Every time it goes off, I commit 15 minutes or whatever it is to doing that, whatever it is. It could be paying a bill, or just a reminder on the way home you need to stop and run an errand or something like that. If you do that, it'll help you stay on track and you won't forget things. And not only that, it'll keep you from feeling like you're overwhelmed, which a lot of times we can get that. So just pace yourself and the task or the errands or whatever that you got to do. There's only one of you. Just breathe through it. Take a lunch break and, carry on your grind if that's what you got to do. So the test and the trial season is another one, and this is the last one. It's so hard, if you're in the middle of it, and, you might not even understand what you're going through or why, but I want to encourage you. God knows, and in due time it will be revealed. So try to be patient through that. Stay focused on what's in front of you, like a racehorse. Sometimes I have to stay focused. I have to block out everything that's going on around me, like blinders on that racehorse, because if I don't, then, like I said, balance sometimes is so hard for me. I'll get overwhelmed. I'll start dropping the ball on things, and then before I know it, I'm just distracted and I'm just ready to throw in the towel. So that's why I say it's very important to realize what season you're in. So those are just a little couple of nuggets that I'll give you that to kind of help me to get through each of these seasons and how to recognize these seasons. So I appreciate you guys so much for always just rocking with me, and follow me on Facebook, on my life coach page, and also on my personal page and Instagram, and just subscribing to these podcasts, because without you guys I couldn't do it. So that concludes this episode of how to recognize what season you're in. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Until next time.